didn't have to be that hard. Unfortunately, it was. Thought we played very, very well in the first half. I thought our energy was great. I thought we made all the extra passes and all the plays for our teammates, and shot a great percentage. But in the second half, they really, really, really junked up the game. I would say they probably played 6 or 7 different defenses. They were literally switching from zone to man in the middle of possession. Just things that aren't real standard, and you don't see. Matter of fact, well, I haven't seen them in a long time. Box and 1, triangle and 2, 1-3-1, 2-3, 2-3, go man in the middle of possession. It was just everywhere. 3-2. And we started standing around and not attacking and settling for shots, and they weren't guarding some guys, and those guys continued to shoot when we needed to be attacking the goal. And then they got a little hot from 3, and then all of a sudden then we've got a game. So another first for us. We've yet to have a big lead at halftime. So we have a big lead at half. Obviously we didn't react very well to that. And that is what it is. I did think that we made some plays going down the stretch. Millie made some plays. We made our free throws. Cam made a big 3. So when the game was on the line, we did perform and make plays when we had to. So, but we just didn't. Our front court wasn't very effective tonight. And so I went to 4 guards later in the game to try to give us some guys that were being a little bit more productive. And that was, it was so-so. Kind of results were so-so on that. But, again, I think we got to halftime. Jared said it in the locker room after the game. He said we got to half, and then we wanted it to be easy. And this is his words. This is college basketball. Nothing's easy, and I think that's exactly right.
You had touched on it a bunch there, Kevin. But I mean, how much do you feel from your vantage point, a sense of the guys were saying they felt like there was less energy out there? How much do you feel like, from what you can gather, a sense of complacency? Kind of said it.
Yeah, I think that we lost our focus and our energy at halftime, and I thought that was the best part about our performance in the first half. I thought our focus and our energy and our intensity was terrific in the first half. And so we had been starting slowly in games. The last 2 or 3 games, it felt like we were getting out of the gate kind of slow, and so we really tried to push to get out of the gate faster, which we did. We did a nice job at the beginning of the game, and then we just we didn't sustain it, and we sustained it through the first 20 minutes, and then we didn't sustain it in the second half. So that's it's my job to fix it and help them fix it, and I know they'll try to fix it. But I just thought we lost focus at halftime, and maybe Jared was right. Maybe we were just hoping it would be easy. And as I told him, they give scholarships too. It's not we weren't the only one in the game that gives scholarships. So they outplayed us in the second half.
Is that where not having a guy like Ryan really hurts, when a team's throwing a box and 1, a triangle, and you have nobody in the
and they're not going to do that if he's in the game, because there's too many guys, there are too many weapons out on the court. But through no fault of their own, the guys that are playing his minutes right now don't have his skill level, so it's not the same. And he's such a good passer that anytime he gets the ball and the defense is out of balance, he finds the guy that's open. So, but it's still good. It's still good that we're getting these minutes for these young kids, and they've just got to figure out how to play harder and play more consistently and get better.
You tried 35 of your 48 shots were threes tonight. Are you concerned that if the threes aren't falling, that your offense is going to sort of go out?
I'm not worried about how many threes we take. What I'm more disappointed in than the number of threes we took was our lack of attack at the goal. I don't mind, the ones you make are the ones where you you get downhill, you get it inside, somehow you pass inside, you drive it inside, and you start kicking it out. Those are the ones that go in. And too many of ours were just off one pass. But again, they were inviting it. They picked some guys not to guard. And so we accommodated them by shooting it quick and missing. And so, you know, my college coach one time told one of the guys on our team, he said, there's a reason they're not guarding you. They want you to shoot. That's the best thing for them, is if you shoot that shot after one pass. Now, they don't have to guard. We needed to get attacks at the goal and make plays for each other like we did in the first half, and we just didn't do that in the second half.
What changed in the second half as opposed to the first? Because you guys were really on fire in the first half. You were up by 20-plus points at the half, and all of a sudden in the second half you stopped shooting. Actually, the shot you did make didn't go in. So was it a matter of Delaware State taking advantage of the fact that they're 2-11, now they're 2-12?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really understand the question, but the only thing that changed was we didn't get inside the defense, and then we started settling for perimeter shots instead of driving in and collapsing the defense and kicking it out for perimeter shots.
As a coach, Kevin, how much does a game like this, a 6-point win against a team that had lost, I mean, it's pretty lopsided games this year, how does that sort of force you to reevaluate your team and where they are right now?
You know, every game is a learning situation for us, and you know, again, this is the first time that these guys have had a big lead. It's the first time that we've walked in at halftime, and heck, it took us 4 or 5 games when the season started before we had a lead at halftime. So all of a sudden we look up, we got a big lead, and we didn't do a good job of helping them handle it. And so, but we implored them the same way at halftime that we did at the beginning of the game. It's all about our energy. It's all about our intensity. It's all about our focus. And we just didn't come out and play with it. So that's what you get when you don't. Our team is not such that we can take our foot off the gas pedal. That's just not who we are. We can't. There's no team in college basketball that we can do that with. Now, we won't have to worry about that anymore because we don't. The rest of the games are going to be very, very full, all we can handle. So, but we just didn't do a good job of coming in at halftime and maintaining that focus and intensity. And you know, it's a growing thing, and it's nice to have a lead. It's nice to be able to get out and come out and blitz a team in the first half and get that lead. You know, if we're ever lucky enough to have it happen again, then maybe we'll do a better job next time of responding to that.
How does this experience, almost fall into a 2-10 team, affect them mentally?
I don't. You don't almost fall to someone. You either win or you don't. And our guys made enough plays to win, and we've got a rule that we're not going to ever treat a win like a loss. Okay, we're not going to act like we lost when we won. And we didn't play a good second half. We played a really good first half. We made some really good plays at the end of the game. Maybe the experience today, A, can help us if we have another big lead. B, it can help us because we did execute at the end and make free throws and make plays. But I would say that we're going to. The biggest complaint that I have from tonight is we just needed better front court play, and we put too much pressure on our guards because we didn't get what we needed up front. And those guys have to be, they don't have to be Ryan Luther, but they have to be better and more productive than they were tonight.
Is there an update on Ryan? Is that timetable?
No, just it's the same. It's we'll probably reevaluate somewhere around the Miami game and see where he's at.
How much of a concern, Kevin, is rebounding with Ryan being out and with having inexperienced guys who maybe, at this point in their careers so early on aren't maybe physically developed to the point where they can really box out and kind of carve out space down there. I mean, how big of a concern is that, I guess?
Well, rebounding is a concern for us all the time, as is ball care. Those are the two things that we kind of stay. We talk about a lot. We want to take care of the ball. We want to make sure that we get shots, get quality shots, and we want to limit them to one shot. And in the first half, they had 6 offensive rebounds, and 3 of them had gone off our hands and gone out of bounds. All right, so we had done a good job. We didn't come up with a couple of balls, but we had done a really good job of boxing out in the first half. Second half, not so much. And then they hit a couple threes, they get a couple offensive rebounds, then they become the aggressor. And it's a thing that you see in games a lot. And you allow the other team to become the aggressor, and now what happened tonight happens. They get the lead cut, and there's no way around it. We played a poor second half. I mean, we played a poor second half on offense. We played a poor second half on defense. We played a poor second half on the boards. And but it's not alarming to me that it's not any more telling to me that we had to kind of squeak out the win at the end than it is that we had a 22-point lead at halftime. Those are just what they are. We played well for a stretch. What it really shows is what we've already known. We're capable of playing well, and we're capable of not playing well. And if we're not focused and intense and really on point, then we're not going to look like a good team. I do think our guys are learning that. Now, fortunately, we didn't learn it the real hard way tonight. We learned it in a way that we didn't want to learn it. We didn't want to play poorly in the second half, but we did. But again, we made some nice plays down the stretch to win the game.
We have a lot of first times. I think it was our first time having a major lead going into the second half, and we came out flat. We didn't come out with enough energy, and that's a learning experience that we need not to make again. So.
You had touched on it there, Jonathan. I mean, for both you guys, do you feel like getting up so big so early that a sense of complacency kind of set in?
It set in a little bit, and I think we had to pick it up towards the end, but by that time they had a little bit momentum. So.
When it's snowballing like that, just rolling, why was it so difficult to kind of recollect yourself until the very end?
Again, I just think it's really about us growing, us learning how to stop it early. I think we learned a lesson for sure, and next time it happens, we'll probably do better for sure.
Jonathan, it seemed like they were kind of daring the Wings to shoot from 3 in the second half. Or that kind of changed things up in half-court sets. Like you have to take these shots if they're giving them to you.
We did that on purpose because they were trying to run and jump, so we got a lot of open shots. Coach drew it up, and we didn't make all of them, but those are shots that we should make. So.
Was that a matchup zone that they switched to in the second half?
I think they did like a triangle and 2 at one point and a box and 1. So.
I guess offensively speaking, how much do you guys feel like you kind of struggle and maybe lose your way a bit when the shots aren't falling from 3? Especially with someone like Ryan being out.
Well, our identity is defense. We're supposed to stick to our defensive principles. And we got away from that a bit today. I think when we played the West Virginia game, we weren't making shots early, but we stuck to our defensive principles, and that's who we are, and that's who we need to be every game.
When you compete, like that and cut against West Virginia, a top 25 team, you cut the deficit to 2, and then tonight was kind of the opposite. Is that because of youth, or what else goes into that, into such kind of inconsistency?
It might be a little bit of that, and it might be a little bit of, our first time being up and first time experiencing how to deal with certain situations. We're learning a lot on the go, you know what I mean? So we're not going to handle it the best at times, but we're learning and we're trying to get better.
Cam, what was the coach's message to you late in the game and then in the locker room after the game?
The coaches really wanted us to pick up our defensive intensity. It was our energy wasn't the same as the first half, obviously, and that was really one of the big things. And they come and tell us that we're working on ourselves right now. This is a big game for us to get better, and so we obviously didn't do a great job of it, but we're going to get better.
What did you guys know about Delaware State going into the season? It's a team that's had some pretty lopsided losses and had kind of a tough go with it. What did you guys see, based on just how they had done and what you all saw in film?
Well, we watch film, but at the end of the day, we focus on us and what we can control, what we could do, because we can't dictate what other teams do. So it's about us growing and us getting better and maturing as a team. So.
Yep. And this is college basketball, man. Everybody gets out scholarships, and everybody's the best player when they're in high school. So everybody is gonna gain a scholarship. So this is not just a regular match. Every game's an intense match for sure.
Cam, you had that sequence late where you missed the three, then came down the other end, got a steal, and then you hit the corner three next possession. What was kind of like, I guess, is that kind of what you guys are talking about, sort of exemplifying, like we miss a shot, go back on defense, make a play, and then you turn it back into offense?
We definitely want our defense to fuel our offense. So.
Yeah, for sure. Defense is what we start off at, like Millie said. We focus on defense, and it leads us into offense. So it makes sense that, after the steal, I made a shot because that's how we play. And that's what, how we were taught.
I think you guys had 10 players score tonight. Is that something you like having when it's not one person getting all the points? Is that something you have to do, especially with Ryan out?
We play the game how it comes, but we always want to share the love. You know what I mean? Some days people are going to make shots, some days people are not. And we definitely had to pick up, a little bit because our leader's out of the loop. So.
Yep. Was this a situation where where you had Ryan's presence, you had kind of his calming presence on the floor, that would have helped?
Yeah, of course. Ryan's a big asset to our team. But this is actually a good thing that we get to learn how to operate when Ryan's not in the game. You know what I mean? Because these guys got to learn, and because we got ACC coming up, so there's a lot of things we have to learn.
With you being a freshman, Cam, with all of this being so relatively new to you, what do you take away from a game like this?
To play 40 minutes of basketball. Games are long. There's 2 halves to each game, so I gotta make sure I bring the same intensity I bring the first half and the second half. That's the biggest thing you can learn from this game.
I think that when the game first started, obviously, Pitt caught us like a deer in the headlights. Many times when we play the major schools, we have to overcome a mentality. The bigger schools, the bigger spotlight, that sort of thing. But once our guys get adjusted and get over that mental hump, a lot of times we can be very, very competitive. And but that happens, and it generally takes time for us to get over that mental barrier. And this time we got over it, but we look up and we're 22, 24 points down. But the players did a good job. Stuck with the game plan. They executed the adjustments we made. And, at one point I look up and we're down 2 points. So obviously I'm proud of the way the guys fought back. But even with all the circumstances that happened during the game, we still were in position to win. And, and it was still our mistakes that caused us to lose. Toward the end of the game, during the crucial time, execution is very, very important toward the end of any game. And we turned the ball over, I think, 3 times. And that actually made a huge, huge difference. Of course, they got themselves together, Pitt team did, and made the free throws at the end and was able to pull it out. But the first half, they were shooting lights out. And very, very impressive. I mean, they was dropping up threes like they were layups. We made a few adjustments and, tried to get them out of it as best we could. But, they was making threes early against the zone, against a man, against a little bit of everything that we tried. And at this point, we just found ourselves in the hole that was a little bit too big to overcome.
What were those defensive adjustments you made at halftime?
Yeah, we kept switching man sets, and then we kept switching zone sets. But when we found one that worked, that we felt like was working, we sort of stuck with it. And they seemed like they had a hard time figuring out, you know, our matchup situation. But that seemed to work best, and we stuck with that mostly throughout the second half.
Coach, you outscored them by 16 in the second half. Was this your best half of basketball this season?
You know, I'm gonna say yes. You know, this basketball team, you know, has been through a lot of adversity, especially early on. You know, we lost 2 starters, one with an injury, ACL tear, he'd be out for the year. Then we lost another one with a hamstring muscle tear. So, you know, we have a freshman at the point, and, you know, he's still trying to figure it out. So we got, you know, a couple of freshmen and a couple of new guys, you know, that we brought in. But, you know, we have to make the adjustments. I mean, that's you know, these things not only happen to Delaware State, they happen to a lot of teams, and we as coaches just have to make the adjustments. And I feel like we're getting better. We're getting better and better as a unit. And this was one of those games that was indicative of how we can be. I think it really came out with that passion, that desire to compete in the first half, the way we came out in the second half. I think we would have been okay. I think we really would have been okay. But as I said, a lot of times when we play these major schools, it's a mental barrier that we have to help our kids get over. And you know, some can handle it, get over it a little faster than others. But every now and then we may sneak up on a major. But we still have to have the burden of the mental approach to the game at this point.